Hello, this is author Denise Turney, and I'm having to move to a different platform, so I'm coming on Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. And I want to thank you for being here with me. I am going to do a reading from Long Walk Up. This is a very inspirational story about a young girl. I got this inspiration while I was driving to work with specific instructions how to create this book. But it was also a news piece I saw about two little kids. I'm going back probably 20 years, and the little girl was 5, and I think her brother was about 7. Their parents had passed away. So they were actually living outdoors on their own and making it. This little girl, her destiny is amazing. Amazing. If you're going through a period in your life where you feel like, okay, regardless of your age, regardless of your background, it's time to make a shift. You can feel it inside yourself. Her story may very well inspire you into really, really good action. So I'm just going to do a brief reading from uh, Mulligan. And this part, I kind of like this part where she meets Desta. So her mother has passed away. She decides to take off up this hill. He's the only community she's known. Her father had passed, her brothers, her other siblings before, and she's a very young girl. She is 5 or 6 years old, Mulligan. And so Desta, I love Desta when she runs into Desta after she comes to this village. And I will begin. The other 6 children who sat on the bed with Mulligan laughed. A tall, wiry girl with thick braids and a broad smile, oldest of the children, asked Mulligan why she leaped from the bed. I've never slept on the soft thing before, a mattress. Mulligan told her. I thought I was going to fall through the floor. The children fastened their attention upon Mulligan, and their eyes ballooning, they stared at her. I wondered what it was about the strange girl sitting on the edge of the bed that kept her from sleeping the way they always had. Before they could press Mulligan with questions, their mother opened the bedroom door. Peering inside, she smiled and asked, Everyone all right? Mulligan scarcely heard her, but her smile, that Mulligan took in fully, completely. Just the smile pulled Mulligan toward his warmth and made her want to run across the room and hug Desta. But something kept Mulligan pinned to the bed. Mulligan wanted to wrestle free because she wanted to embrace Desta's warm smile, an act that would find her wrapped inside a mother's arms. The children looked at their mother and grinned. They told her they were fine. Their faces gave her a comforting assurance, although she hadn't poked her head inside the room because she feared something was amiss with him. She stuck her head inside the room because she wanted to check on the little girl whose path crossed hers less than 4 hours ago. She recalled when she was a child herself and had been placed into a classroom of children who knew each other, had played and laughed together for months, while she was the only child no one knew. The other children in the classroom stared at her, looked at her as if they could measure her thoughts and the breadth and depth of her heart with their eyes. They looked hard at her. Discomfort came around her like a cloak. She wanted to run. She looked back at the school door, but her feet remained planted. It wasn't until one of the two teachers entered the room and, introducing her, encouraged the children to greet her with a word of hello, a friendly smile and a hug that the ice broke, and she started to feel loved again. Skipping down a little bit, Desta's smile widened when her gaze fell across Mulligan's face. Have the children told you their names? The children looked at each other. Then, with sheepish grins on their face, they turned and revealed their names one by one to Mulligan. My name is Mulligan, she said in return. Would anyone like anything before I turn up the light? I want you all to lie down and get plenty of good rest. Your minds and bodies will thank you all night long, early in the morning, and all of tomorrow for having done so. The way the children smiled up at their mother let Mulligan know she was oftentimes gentle, kind, and flexible the way a river doesn't fight rocks it moves over. It wasn't being kind for her sake. This was who she was. Briefly, Mulligan remembered her own mother and felt a tinge of envy stab her thought. She almost looked at the floor, but her father had taught her to hold her head high so many times she was unable to. She looked from Desta to Desta's 6 children. I'm fine, she finally said. Desta stuck her head further inside the room. One of the children, a small boy named Berta, was crouched on the floor behind the door. He played with a beetle. And the rest of you? She asked for confirmation that the children were fully prepared to climb on the bed and fall asleep. Berta reluctantly moved his attention from the reddish-orange beetle to his mother. He presented her with a snaggletooth grin. I am going to go a little further. This one with where she's with Desta is just so for me touching. Um, so I'm gonna go a little bit. What do you ask? Which way to go next? How would trees know that? I skipped a little bit. Mother can raise and lower their shoulders. They don't. Yahweh does. I don't know how it happens. It just does. Yahweh moves through the tree like Yahweh moves through people and anything else that's alive. I asked people which way to go next too, and she added, I knew that hill back in the plain was telling me something. And all those animals going over that hill. She paused. I knew. I could feel it. She raised and lowered her shoulders again. Trees like people have life in them. Life has the answer. Yahweh is life. You're alive. Mulligan was silent. The words went into her like more pigment going into her skin. You can't stay a little girl. We're going to become a we're going to become a woman. Then we're going to become old women. Mothers maybe. And aunts. Grandmothers. Wow. Then old like you said, really old. Not old like my mother is now. How old is your mother? I don't know. Is she as old as that tree by your house? I don't know, a baby laughed. I wasn't here when my mother was born. You're right, Mulligan conceded. Did mothers used to be little girls? It was Mother Mulligan's turn to laugh. Yes. Um, let's see. I want to go down here to the. I'm skipping. I knew when Mulligan did when Mulligan did when she did. Mulligan closed her eyes. The kiss felt like a butterfly had gently brushed her face. She's having a spiritual encounter with her mother. I know you enjoy the comfort here, Mulligan, but you cannot stay here. You must keep moving. Just as Mulligan opened her eyes, her mother blended in with the yellow paint decorating the room. Pierre, Mulligan, and the other children breathed. The tree at the edge of the house. Long walk up. You can read what happens to Miss Mulligan in this story, and she is not alone, just as we are not alone. I encourage you to get a copy, and please visit me online at my official website, www.chistel.com, CHISTELL.com, where you can read more about Miss Mulligan. Thank you.